So, in the world of Coastal Arreqqana, power isn't about how much money you have or what fancy title is next to your name. No, it's something way deeper, something that can be used without even saying a single word. And today, we're going to unpack exactly how that silent authority works. Our story kicks off in a place that seems totally ordinary, a transit hall. You know the vibe. It's quiet, maybe a little boring. A young woman named Peppy is there, just another face in the crowd. But what's about to go down in this room is going to blow the lid off the entire power structure of this society. The first move comes from a port magistrate, a Tier 3 noble. He's flexing his official power, right? He finds some issue with Peppy's papers. It's a standard bureaucratic move, a small, everyday way of showing who's in charge. But then, the magistrate just freezes. He spotted something almost invisible, a single thread woven right into the document. It's not glowing, it's not magical, it's just there. And in that one instant, you can feel the entire dynamic in the room shift. The challenge? It just completely evaporates. And get this, Peppy just moves on, probably has no idea about the silent drama that just unfolded. But the people watching, they know. They just saw an immense power play, a definitive statement made without a single word being spoken. She didn't have to say a thing. So, what in the world just happened? How can a simple piece of thread completely shut down a government official? Well, that's the mystery we're about to crack open, and the answer is buried deep inside a very complex system of nobility. Okay, so to really get what that silent authority is all about, we first have to look at the official structure of Arreqqana's nobility. It's a hierarchy, and it's broken down into 5 very distinct tiers. So here's the whole pyramid at a glance. Way up at the top, you've got the royal tide bloodhouses. Just below them, in Tier 2, are the temple nobles. Tier 3 has your civic and regional nobles, like that magistrate we just met. And then, forming the base, Tiers 4 and 5 are the honored families and common citizens. Now, it seems pretty straightforward, but it's the source of each tier's power that makes this whole system so unique. At the absolute pinnacle, we have Tier 1, House Tarraqhavvezz. Their status is called Le Nama Ra, which basically means those whose blood remembers. This power is inherent, it isn't granted by some king, and it sure can't be taken away. Their actual bloodline is considered sovereign. Next up, in Tier 2, you've got houses like Naqorrin, Sijjolar. Now, these are deeply respected high nobles. They're scholars, they're the keepers of sacred rituals. But there's a saying on the coast: they carry the scroll, not the seal. What that means is they know all the roles, but they don't hold the ultimate authority to enforce them. Tier 3 is where you'll find the people running the show day to day, the governors, the admirals, the wealthy merchants. Their power is very real, don't get me wrong, but it's also conditional. It only exists as long as it's recognized by the tiers above them. And finally, Tiers 4 and 5 really form the foundation of their whole society. You have honored families who are respected for some great skill or service, and then the common citizens who are protected by the law. But neither of these groups holds any kind of formal mandate to rule or command anyone. Okay, so we've seen the what of this whole hierarchy. Now let's dig into the why. What's the philosophy that holds this all together? Well, it all comes down to a set of principles that value things way more permanent than money or influence. See, in Arreqqana, true, lasting nobility is measured by 3 unshakable pillars: blood, mandate, and continuity. These are the things that separate temporary influence from true authority. First up is blood. And listen, this isn't just about your ancestry. It's the core belief that certain bloodlines, these tide bloodlines, have a spiritual, almost mystical connection to the coast itself. It's an authority you can't buy, you can't fake, and nobody can grant it to you. Like they say, blood is memory. The second pillar is mandate. Think of it as a recognized duty or right, granted by law or the temple. For pretty much everyone, a mandate can be given, and it can also be taken away. But, and this is the key, for a tide blood house like Tarraqhavvezz, their mandate is inseparable from their blood. It is absolutely permanent. And the third pillar is continuity. Now, this concept is fascinating. The idea is that any noble house that has managed to survive for centuries, while crowns have fallen and governments have collapsed around them, has earned a unique form of structural sovereignty. They've proven that they are more enduring than the very states they live in. So, what happens when these different forms of power actually clash? Let's take a look at how this system really plays out when authority is challenged head-on, specifically between the top 2 tiers.
This right here, this is where the difference becomes crystal clear. A Tier 2 ritual custodian and a Tier 1 mandate holder can both perform a sacred ritual, no problem. But look at that second column. Only the Tier 1 noble can validate its authority. They're the one who decides if it actually has any real power.
And this just brilliantly illustrates the core distinction. Tier 2 nobles, the ritual custodians, they're masters of form. Their question is always, was it done correctly? They make sure the procedure is perfect. But Tier 1, the mandate holders, they are masters of consequence. Their question is much simpler. Does it count?
There is a coastal saying that sums this up so perfectly. One house knows the words to the prayer, but the other one decides if that prayer is actually answered. That, right there, is the ultimate expression of power in this entire system.
So let's bring this all together. What is the core, the enduring principle of power in Coastal Arreqqana when you strip everything else away? This quote really gets to the heart of the whole philosophy. Rulers and influential nobles, they're temporary forces. Their power is measured in days, maybe years. But true authority, the kind held by the Tideblood houses, that's measured in memory, in continuity, in something as timeless as the tide itself.
And that leaves us with this final question, doesn't it? In a world of changing governments and fleeting fortunes, what kind of power is truly permanent? For the people of Arreqqana, the answer is clear. It's the power woven into the very fabric of their land and their lineage, the kind of authority you don't even have to speak aloud to use.